I welcome you all to this wonderful lesson. It's a continuation from where we ended yesterday. So, this is something that I want us to start with. It is called a motor neuron. So, I remember telling you to say that when we are talking about a neuron, we can also term them as what? Nerve cell. They say repetition is for emphasis. So in as much as I'm repeating some of these things, I don't want you to be making mistakes. So neuron is just the same as a nerve cell. These two are just the same. So I don't want you to be making mistakes. And you know that a neuron or a nerve cell is a basic unit of the nervous system, whereby a neuron or a nerve cell is a cell modified for the transmission of electric impulses from one point to the other. This is what you need to understand. So what is now the purpose of these motor neurons? We need to get and understand the purpose of the motor neurons. What is their purpose? You discover that these are neurons that get to carry. So you discover that they do what? They get to carry. So I'll say that they carry impulses. They do what? They carry impulses. So you need to understand that they carry impulses from where? From the central nervous system to what? To the effectors. This is what you need to get. So when we are talking about the nerve cells connected to the motor neurons, these ones, the motor neurons, they carry impulses from the central nervous system. I remember telling you that if you know that you've got a bad memory, you can forget these abbreviations. It's better you just write them in your book. So you need to get that a motor neuron gets to carry impulses from the central nervous system to the effectors. The question is, what is an effector now? In as much as I'm teaching this, I know not everyone is able to understand some of these things. More especially when we are talking about effectors, I don't want to leave questions in your mind where you start thinking, what are effectors? Once you are not understanding certain words, it becomes a challenge for you to even answer exam questions or for you to pass even an exam. This is the reason why I want you to follow me clearly and attentively. So an effector, we are talking about any what? Any body part. You need to understand that any body what? Any body part that does what? That carries, so that carries out a response. That carries out a what? A response. That carries out a response to a nervous impulse. To the nervous what? To the nervous impulse. This is what you need to get. So that is an effector. It is going to carry out a response to the what? To the nervous impulse. They will now respond, okay, when this has happened like this. Okay, since the information has gone to the brain, then now the brain will now interpret. Like I remember telling you that the central nervous system, some of the parts that make up the central nervous system is the brain. So after the information, the electric impulses have reached the brain, then the brain would say, okay, if this has happened this way, you need to respond like this. For example, if you call me Harrison, one of the sensory organs that will get that are my ears, isn't it? You discover that that name Harrison will go to the central nervous system. So it will move from the what? It will move from the sense organs, which are the receptors. This is what I was teaching yesterday. So what will happen is this. To make you understand this, this is you. Have you seen? This is you, and this is me. You call me Harrison, you shout Harrison. And then my ears will get that name. Then upon hearing that, then that information will go to the central nervous system. for interpretation, then it will go to the what? To the effectors. It can be maybe my mouth, I will respond, yes, I'm here. So this is what gets to what? This is what gets to happen. This is what you need to understand. So the information will move first from the sense organ. So when it moves from the sense organ, so from the sense organ, it will go to the what? Central nervous system. From the central nervous system, it will now go to the what? It will now go to what we are calling effectors. This is what is happening. So I want you to understand all these things that I'm listing down here. So the neuron that will carry impulses from the sense organ to the central nervous system, we've got what we get to call the sensory neurons. And once they reach the central nervous system, they need to go to the effectors. And the neuron that will transmit those is what we get to call a motor what? A motor neuron. So this is a basic foundation or information that you need to get. What is important is getting the concept and be able to understand it. That is the most important thing. Then we now look at certain characteristics of these motor neurons. So I say characteristics of what? Motor neurons. What are some of the characteristics of motor neurons? So I'll say motor what? Motor neurons. What are some of these characteristics? One, you need to get that they carry impulses. They carry what? They carry impulses. This is the first thing you need to understand. They carry impulses from what? Central nervous system to effectors. This is a cardinal characteristic that you need to get. So they will carry these electric impulses from where? From the central nervous system to the effectors. And you need to get that these ones, they get to have a what? A longer axon and a what? And short what? And short dendrites. So these, I guess you know them. From what we did yesterday, you are able to follow me clearly and attentively. Aside this, you are also able to agree with me that these ones, when we are talking about a motor neuron, you discover that their cell body, so their what? Their cell body are what? Are terminally located. They are at the end, terminally what? Located. They are at the end. So these are some of the characteristics that you need to get. So even as I teach you this important subject, even as I teach you this, I want you to understand everything that I will be explaining here. So you need to make sure that you know all these things. You are able to answer even questions that will come in your exams. So this is something that is so good, something that is very important for you to understand. The next question you need to have, how does a motor neuron look like? So when we are talking about a motor neuron, you discover that these neurons, I've taught you to say that they move to what? Central nervous system to effectors. So these effectors can be glands, they can be body organs such as muscles. So if I slap you, I slap you. So you discover that that slap, that information will go to the brain for interpretation. The brain will interpret, okay, in this way you respond like this. That information will move to the effectors. Maybe the organ, or we can talk of the gland. It can be maybe a muscle. It will go to the muscle. The muscle will now react to discover that in most cases, why? Because the body has responded under this particular topic called coordination. So you are able to understand how the information and everything is moving. So what gets to happen, this one is like this. They look somehow similar, but they've got certain differences. So this one, just like this, have you seen like this? So like this, it has come like this. This is how it is, this one. Like this, then they'll all be here like this. This is how it is going to be. Have you seen like this? Like this. It will go like that to just continue going. Then these will follow now. They will start like this. This is how it is. So even these ones will be like that. Have you seen like this? Something like this. So you know that, okay, this one is here like this. Then there are these parts that are here. So you know that these ones, have you seen these? These ones are what we get to call dendrites. So these are what? These are dendrites. So these are dendrites. And you know that this one that is there, this is called the nucleus. I guess you know that that is the what? That is the nucleus. That is the nucleus. Then this whole thing here, you know that, okay, this thing that is here, this thing, the whole thing here, the dendrites, the nucleus, everything gets to be contained in a cell body. So you get to call that as a cell body. Then here we've got now these things that gets to move. This is cytoplasm, so I won't label that. We've got these things that get to be like that. Have you seen these ones? They are longer. Have you seen? Then here, this is there is a distance here showing you that it is going, just going. So this is a sign of a longer distance. So there is a distance here. Then here we've got these things that are just like this. So you know that, okay, these things we've got here, that is called the what? The axon. So we've got the axon, that is what we get to call the axon. We've got the myelin there. So these are just some parts that will make you understand this. I guess you've seen how this one is, and you're able to answer even exam questions that can come. This is something that is so simple. So I want you to get this, and I want you to understand some of these things. Let us now move on and look at another part. So you are supposed to be drawing these things, and you are supposed to be understanding them clearly. So let me write down this point so that you have just have felt something within myself. Someone has not gotten what the effectors are. So when we are talking about effectors, these are effectors. What we get to say about effectors is that the effectors are what? Effectors are glands. We are talking about glands. Apart from being glands, these can be what? Body organs. These can be body organs. And I guess you know what we mean by body organs. This can be what? A muscle. You know those body organs. So those are the what? Effectors that you need to understand. So it is just as simple as that. Let us now move on to the other part. We go now to the next one, and this one we are calling it as the relay neuron. So we move to the next part. This is a short lesson, and I guess you are able to understand these things. Even as I give you an exercise, you are going to do wonders. I believe so, because everything that you need to know, I'm teaching you here, and you are able to understand them. Let us now look at what we get to call the relay neuron. We look at the relay neuron. So what is a relay neuron? When we are talking about a relay neuron, you discover that these, you just understand that these are what? These are neurons. These are what? These are just neurons that forms, that do what? That forms a link. They are going to form a link between, so I'm going to say they form a link between the sensory neurons. So between the sensory what? The sensory neurons and the motor neuron. and the what? Motor neurons. Those are what we get to call the what? Those are what we get to call the relay neurons. These ones, they just get to form a what? They just form a link between the two. So something that is connecting these two is what we get to call a relay neuron. It is just connecting the two. If this one is a sensory neuron, this is a motor neuron. So discover that in between here, we've got the central nervous system. This one is the what? This is what we call the sensory neuron. So I will say, okay, this one is the sensory neuron. This one is the motor neuron. So what is connecting the two here on this where we've got the central nervous system? They are relay neurons. And how is this relay neuron is? It is just connecting, or it's a link between the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. It just forms a what? It forms a link. So you discover that these ones, they are located in the central nervous system. Have you seen? So there, I've told you a simple example is this one. This is a sensory neuron. It is going this side, taking information to the central nervous system. And we've got now the motor neuron taking the electric impulses to the what? To the effectors. Here we've got the sense organs or the receptors. So say sensory what? Sensory neurons. This is a sense organ. So sense organ taking information to the central nervous system. From the central nervous system, the information will go to the motor and will go to the effectors via the motor neuron. So here in between, in the central nervous system, this is now where we get to have the what? The relay neuron. So it is in the central nervous system where we get to have the what? The relay neuron, because they just form a link between these two. That is the information that you need to get. So a relay neuron, it is forming a link. How is it? It is just like this. This one is just like this. It is just like this. Have you seen the way it is? Just like this. This is how it is. Just like this. This is how it is. Have you seen? Just like this. It is just like this. Then it is having that nucleus. And there we've got what? Cytoplasm. You know that, okay? This is what? Cytoplasm. That is cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm. This is the nucleus. So nucleus like this. That is the what? That is the nucleus. This is just an example of a relay neuron. That is how the structure is. Hope you've seen how we've explained these particular things. So next time when we meet, we are going to start now looking at a junction between two neurons, the name that is given to it. So we are going to be looking at those things. So I just want you to follow me clearly and attentively. We are almost finishing biology. So I just want you to follow me. The things that we need to cover, there are just a few than the things that we've covered. And the most important thing is understanding. So we need to make sure that by next month, that is May, June, we need to be done with everything. Those of you that recently joined, we are going to revise through everything just like this, and you will be able to understand. The key thing is getting a distinction. If there is a subject that you just need to be getting distinctions, it's biology. And how can you get a distinction in biology? Is by studying, revising through these things. You see how questions do come in an exam. So this marks the end of this particular lesson. There are methods of payment. I've seen some people have not gotten this. Methods of what? Methods of payment. So I want you to follow me clearly and attentively. This is a private video and you are not supposed to share it to your friend or any friend. You are not supposed to do that. If you are using MTN, get cash, you withdraw. So meaning the number that you need to use, this is the number. This is the number that you need to use, 4455. If you are using Airtel, get cash. So even Airtel, you say get cash, you withdraw. The number, this is the code, 20076573. These are the codes. So if you are paying, you pay, and this is registered under my names, but they are not with me. What I get to do when you pay, I keep records, then they get to cash me when we meet every weekend. So once you pay, you send me a screenshot of your payment. I write down your name so that I just present to them, the people that are working with these, the names and the date, that okay, this person has to pay on this and such a day. So once you pay, don't forget to drop a screenshot of your payment and the name that you've used. Some of you get to, maybe your name is memory, but you pay using Patricia's name. So you need to tell me, okay, the name is this, so that I know, okay, this is what is happening. So these are the details. Let's make sure that we follow this. When you pay, you've not communicated anything to us. That can bring confusion, and on our side, it will seem as if you've not paid because you've not communicated anything with me. So this marks the end of this session. We've looked at the neurons. We are going to look at something interesting in our next lesson, and I hope you've understood this. If I tell you, start explaining from the endocrine system up to the types of neurons, you must be able to do that. Those of you that started saying, these are things we are just covering, small things. This is how we get to go. After 2 weeks, you discover that you are going to have a lot of notes, such that if you are not studying these, you won't even be able to catch up. It's better you understand these same simple notes. Information gets to build on information. So once you understand these things, the next topic won't be a challenge. So let's just make sure that we work together and be able to understand these things. This is the end of this session. Thank you so much. Let me forward you an exercise. And I don't want any person to say, me, like we've got people that have paid, maybe on the day they registered, I didn't write down their name. So those people get to appear as ghost members, meaning that you don't want to pay, but you are attending to lessons. I always give you a free will. If you've joined and you don't want to continue next month, you are free to exit the group just like that.